All right, here we go. We are live. Welcome everybody to CoinFest Vancouver. So happy to have you all here. We're up to Saturday now. We've got 2 days of events left. Today is the Blockchain Gaming Expo, and tomorrow will be the Mass Blockchain Wedding and DDP. We also have a dinner tonight afterwards at India Gate, which was one of the first restaurants to accept Bitcoin globally, I would assume, because also in Vancouver. And it'll be our last Bitcoin dinner there. So everyone should make sure to come to that. So today we've got lots of events, but first we want to thank our sponsors. We've got our global sponsors here. We've got Horde and Einstein. Horde and Einstein. Einstein couldn't be here in person, so Einstein Exchange and Horde for this guy over here. Horde, much more gaming related. They're here with the booth and everything. They've got Plasma Dog and a new game that I haven't had a chance to try yet. Also, we got a lot of other people here and a lot of other local sponsors for the Vancouver scene. We've got Engine Coin. They're here. They'll be back in the afternoon. We've got GeoCoin. They're over there. We've got Coin Droids. Yeah, old school. We've got a huge booth by BitNational. There's some. It's like a mini carnival outside. So you're going to be able to get in one of those big booths where you get the wind going and the money flies around. Yeah, we've got it all. We've got Plinko. Yeah, this is going to be a good one. So. One quick note is one of our speakers couldn't be here because they got SIM swapped this morning. So we're going to give a reminder to everybody to never use your phone SMS as your two-factor. We don't know the result of the SIM swapping, but they did get his phone, so hopefully he followed that standard procedure. But just a reminder, never use your phone number as your two-factor because they will reset your Google password and they will reset all your exchange passwords and they will get everything you have. So that's just a friendly reminder, and we hope our friend today from Event Chain, who was going to speak, is dealing with that well. It's a real big problem, especially in Canada. It's way too easy to do. So we're going to start the day out with a merchant adoption panel with two of our oldest Vancouver grinders, Andrew, the founder of CoinFest, and Adam, who's over here. And Dane will be here, one of the first merchants to get on back in the day. These two, Vancouver's really known for having a lot of merchant adoption in the early Bitcoin days. And what's not really known is that it was, mostly these two guys like just on the grind. If you go into a place and you say, "I will bring people here, but you have to accept Bitcoin," and you follow through on that over and over again, people will start accepting. So that was our little secret in Vancouver. It was all just two guys. So we've got a merchant adoption panel. Then in the afternoon, after some lunch, which you can get from the Bitcoin accepting food truck outside, huge giant burritos and stuff. Yeah, super awesome. They always come out to our events with their food truck, and they accept Bitcoin, so make sure you hit them up. Our PC is running low on batteries, you can see. So that's your PC. Low battery, yeah. We won't have it on the panel. That thing, the light's pretty blinding. You can see how bright that got. Yeah, so we won't have it on the panel. We want to get the CoinFest logo up there. In the afternoon, Andrew's going to give us a talk on AI and blockchain gaming. Which should be a really good one because that's going to be one of the things that people do have to compete against AI. It's just the nature of being online. So we'll see how we'll have to talk about how AI is going to affect blockchain gaming. And then as we move forward to the afternoon, we're going to have a talk from Drew from BitNational. Yeah, over there. No, he's not in the room, but his bros are. Yeah, BitNational's always been really good, helped the Vancouver scene. They've been around a long time. We're going to move past that. We're going to talk with Coin Droids after that. One of the older blockchain games is still around. Yeah, and they're still pushing strong after all this time, and it's good to see real innovation from them. And we've got GeoCoin, which is a standalone project on Ethereum. On Ubiq, yeah, Ubiq. We got a lot of love for the Ubiq in Vancouver. GeoCoin will be presenting. Then followed up with that, we got a couple more. We got C. Bob Rob from Horde, or Chris Bob Robinson, but C. Bob Rob's too good of a name not to use. From Horde Exchange, they did Plasma Dog. So that's one of the good ones they have. It's fun enough to play right now. And it looks like they have a new game here, which I'll maybe report back on in the afternoon after I've given it a try. And then followed up, we got lastly VTech from Engine Coin. Engine Coin making a lot of waves lately with the not real, but turns out to be real sounding Samsung partnership. It's hard to believe at first after all the 2016, 2017 when something like a Samsung partnership was just a rumor. And then it really happened and happened to one of our locals. So that's really good. During the day, we already have it going. We got a Lightning chess tournament. So, we got a Bitcoin poker tournament now. So, guys over there. Yeah, that's going to be a few rounds of that, just free rolls, the $25 prize for whoever takes it all. Later in the day, we're going to have a lightning chess tournament, which I'm not sure if it's just lightning in speed or lightning in payout.
It's on the lightning network.
But it's definitely on the lightning network. Yeah, and then we have a couple extra booths I didn't mention were Althea MeshNet. So Adam, who I mentioned earlier, has been working on building up a little MeshNet for Vancouver. Got a couple nodes going, talking to each other, I believe. Yeah, it's growing, it's getting there. Soon free internet for everybody. That's Adam's promise. Yeah. So as I said, first of the day, we're going to start with a merchant adoption panel. As I said, Vancouver was one of the most merchant adopted places because of two of the guys you're going to hear from. They really put in the work. And even today, Vancouver still, if you look on the maps of places that accept Bitcoin and crypto, we still hold strong as being one of the top places in the world. So I'm really proud of our boys for that. And yeah, without further ado, we're going to hear from Andrew, Adam, and Dane, who was one of the first merchants. All right, come on up, boys. Clap. Please clap. I'm going to unblind you.
Out to the live stream?
Andrew did that.
I did to watching gamers.
Did you tweet it?
No, not yet.
Okay, we're going to tweet out the link as soon as we can, and you're going to find it. We're going to get everyone in here to retweet it. So if you're watching on the stream, make sure you see that link, tweet it out, get everyone watching. I'm going to turn off this light for you guys.
Nice, thank you.
It's very blinding.
So yeah, like you said, merchant adoption has been a running theme of CoinFest, especially in Vancouver, since we started it here. Like this was conceived as a way to spread merchant adoption. And that's kind of not as trendy as it used to be when like smart contracts and NFTs became a thing. Interest or attention spent on merchant adoption waned. But I think lately it's been waxing a bit, because fees been going down, Lightning Network's been developing such that, and stable coins are coming out, which will be a debate. Some people, he probably hates stable coins, but
it's not
the right word. Okay, too strong. But yeah, so this is, if you know, all places at CoinFest, we only go to venues accepting crypto. This is a new one, thanks to David and the Dogecoin guys helped us secure this. My belief, so a little rundown. I joined the Bitcoin Co-op project he was working on a while ago, and our goal is just to spread merchant adoption. I was the PR guy, host events, get it on the news, social media. He was the tech guy, and he was one of our first merchants. So he would go set up a terminal, I'd bring events there, strategies to spread merchant adoption, basically. You'll find that there are different ways to look at this. One thing I've noted when I think Dane was already interested in crypto, so he didn't take much searching. Sometimes when we search for places, I'll look in places like Groupon or Live in Social. Typically a business owner who's already innovative in their business mindset, willing to try interesting experimental things, is one who's probably open-minded to trying a thing like crypto as well. From their perspective, most of them aren't accepting crypto for the technological efficiency of it. They're accepting it because we'll come drink there if they do that. So that's just been a thing I've been trying to set up. See, what terminal are you using now?
What terminal are you using
You were using CoinOS, but it's been a while since I checked on it.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I haven't been there for a little while. I'm not actively involved at the restaurant on a day-to-day basis, but we're using something. It's changed a few times. I think we started
you
with
were using CoinOS, and then you
that was
switched
your
to
custom
BitPay.
one, right?
Yeah.
And then we went to BitPay.
And you're probably still on both. And
I think you're right.
using
So yeah,
BitPay.
that's one of the challenges right now to merchant adoption is that there isn't an awesome go-to resource to use. But that's just part of the nature of any emerging technology, emerging payment system.
We've had at some restaurants, it turned out to be the case that the owner was really into it and his staff were not.
Yeah,
I said that staff for you too.
that feels pretty accurate.
Like what, they don't want to learn a new thing?
It's just an extra thing for everyone, right? So, they use the debit terminal, they're used to that. If it doesn't integrate with that, which it can't yet, then they have to learn how to do a new thing, and it takes a little longer, and it's a little bit different, but, kind of sold it to them based on the philosophy behind it.
Is tipping customary at Bestie?
Yeah, tipping is, and at first we didn't have a way to take Bitcoin tips, but you guys added that pretty much right away. I think when we requested it, and and that helps the service adopt it a little bit quicker.
Yeah, just to recap, so Adam here, part of his tech initiatives to spread adoption is he made an app called CoinOS, accepting Bitcoin payments. Is it still custodial? Tell us about your app.
Yeah, so it started off actually as a non-custodial Bitcoin wallet. It's a web wallet, so your keys to your wallet were just stored in an encrypted file that we never were able to read before. But since moving to the Lightning Network, when fees got really high, I guess a couple years ago or a year and a half ago, decided to rewrite the app and focus on getting Lightning working. And I haven't figured out the best way to run a non-custodial Lightning web wallet yet. They're still figuring out how to do like mobile wallets, like light clients, SPP clients, that you don't need to be running a full blockchain node, so you can run it on a small device. Yeah, with CoinOS, so right now it's running on a server that I have control of all the funds that are on there because they're just on my Lightning Network node. So anyone who's receiving payments there is going to have to be trusting me with that money that's coming in until they go and manually withdraw it to another one of their wallets, which if they have their own Lightning wallet, then that's really trivial to do because the payments are free, so they can just receive it with CoinOS, then move it to their own Lightning wallet on their phone or a node somewhere. But yeah, I'd probably be just encouraging people not to keep a lot of money on there because anytime you're using a custodial service, you're at risk. Like you know that service is gonna stay up and running and not get hacked.
Unregulated space.
Yeah, it's unregulated. Got all sorts of problems. Hopefully, the non-custodial Lightning wallets will start improving, and I'll get that working with mine too. So.
Yeah, just to clarify technically, if I'm understanding correctly, I think it's such that we're not yet at the point where we can Lightning enable a light wallet, like you need a full copy of the chain. Is that what's going on their device to run it if they want to do it without trusting you?
Yeah, you need to be running a full node. It doesn't have to be on your device. You could be running a full node on a server somewhere and then connecting to it, but you have to be running it somewhere, and then your device will be pointing to it.
Yeah, so
a lot of people don't have the technical wherewithal to set up their own blockchain Lightning node and blockchain server to use for being fully trusted. So.
Well, like, just to clarify, how does this differ? Like, when I use blockchain.info or something, for example, I don't have a full copy of blockchain. But they use light wallets are easier to do without Lightning, or?
Well, that's a normal Bitcoin wallet, right? That's not a Lightning wallet.
Yeah.
So normal Bitcoin wallets that aren't using Lightning are pretty easy to do non-custodially because you can keep all the keys on the device and you don't need to be connected to the blockchain all the time or storing the blockchain or validating the blockchain. You just need to be watching it. So when you see a transaction, you know that it's coming into your address and you don't have to do anything to like sign off on that. You can receive payments without having to provide any signature or do any validation. You can just give out your address and people can start sending there. And when you want to send a payment out from a normal Bitcoin wallet, you just use the keys on your device, sign the transaction, and then broadcast it to the network. And to do that broadcasting, you don't need to be running a full node either. You can use someone else's full node. So the security model is a little different with Lightning because it's constantly in danger of your channels being closed or breached. You're opening a multi-party account, so a 2 of 2 multi-signature account, that when you're receiving payments on that channel, you need to make sure that they're not going to broadcast an old invalid transaction to the blockchain. And to do that, you need to be constantly vigilant, watching the blockchain, and then capable of signing transactions on demand in case that channel gets breached, right? And you're also forwarding payments to other nodes. So you also, if you're running a Lightning node, people are going to be sending their payments through your node to reach other nodes. So they might not even be wanting to pay you, but they're wanting to pay someone that you're connected to. So you need to be online for them to be able to forward through you, because you need to sign off on all those forwarding transactions.
Well, follow-up question. It looks like the gist of what we're getting here is that Lightning will be great for merchants, but we're currently still going through technical limitations, making it trustless for everyone.
Yeah, and it's impossible to get that working. It's just taking a little bit of time.
How long do you think it'll take to enable or make easier non-custodial Lightning wallets?
I think there's a few out already. I haven't tried them all yet, but
Can you name any? Are they competitors to CoinFest? You don't want to name them.
I actually just none are coming to mind the names of them right now. But I need to research them more.
Can I make a comment from the motion?
Yeah.
So from just like an average merchant perspective, to bring it back to that topic, everything that those guys just discussed, your average merchant does not want to know. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to know what it is. They don't want to know why it's not safe or why it is safe. They want to have something that's as simple as like a Moneris point of sale terminal, or ideally connected to that, where they can accept payments. That's what will increase merchant adoption. So right now we're just not there yet, and so it's only early adopters that are buying into this stuff. But when you start hearing Jack Dorsey talk about Lightning Network and how stoked he is, and something like Square made it pop, like if Square added functionality where you could take Lightning payments, adoption will skyrocket overnight, because the user base is just so huge, and they have the user, they have the ability to design something and the funds to design something that will be very, very usable right away. And whether that's good or bad is not mine to say, but something like that is what's going to be a tipping point to me.
Yeah. That.
Can I just mention some of the points about merchant adoption? So just back to like basic points of merchant adoption. I was going around like trying to get more places to take Bitcoin. I was thinking like, what's our pitch? Why take crypto instead of just sticking with credit cards or Square or whatever? And so I just wanted to share some of my like main points that I tell people. One is the fees are lower, so you're paying like 1 or 2%, maybe more, I don't know, to take credit card payments, and the consumers don't really think about that side of it because the merchant just covers that and it comes off their bottom line. But it is reflected in the merchant's prices, right? Because their costs are going to be what they are, and they're going to need to make some profit. So
if it isn't, it will be.
Yeah, so it might be like a lag. Like if credit card fees went up one day, then merchants might not all raise their prices the next day. But throughout the economy, those couple percent fees are being sort of built into all the prices that we pay and sort of siphoned off. So
a couple percent of $9 trillion is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to just do payments, and it could be a lot cheaper. And so prices across the board would go down if everyone started adopting crypto. But for an individual merchant, like just telling them like, yeah, you can save a couple percent, they might say, okay, well, no one's going to come and use this stuff though. So why am I going to go through the hassle of figuring out how to use it, training my staff, getting this app that's
not fully understanding
doesn't run on my current like Moneris terminal or whatever. I have to have my own iPad or tablet or something. So for them to want to invest in doing it, you have to, like Andrew was saying, give them some more incentives around like we're going to be doing marketing for you, sort of. And if you accept Bitcoin, then you can put up a sign. We'll put you on all these websites. Like there's coinmap.org that lists all the merchants in town that take Bitcoin. and we'll start hosting events and bringing people to your business just for the sole purpose of trying it out and using Bitcoin there. Another big selling point, I guess, was the no chargebacks. So like,
Totally.
As a merchant, there's a lot of credit card fraud and stuff out there. People are maybe coming in and using stolen cards, or they're just, calling up their credit card and saying, "Oh, I made this purchase by accident. I want to reverse the payment." And the credit card companies will do that for them, and then the merchant's on the hook, so they end up.
Does that happen to Bestie?
It's probably not so much.
I have a couple of comments related to that stuff. So we're a bit of a unique use case because Bestie is like a local bricks and mortar community restaurant. So, for instance, we made the decision to stop accepting credit cards 2 years ago, based solely on the fact that it's usury. We were paying so much to the credit cards every month that just by taking that 2.whatever% fee away and no longer paying for the terminal each month and all these ridiculous charges that are built in that you don't actually look at unless you look at it. We were able to give our employees full benefits by just by erasing that. So we put that at the bottom of the menu. We don't take credit cards, but now our employees have benefits. Please pay with debit or cash or Bitcoin. So we're pretty unique though. Most businesses, especially online businesses, don't have that luxury of their customer base being like, okay, I'll not use my credit card.
How do you keep your staff from disliking accepting Bitcoin?
Exactly. What I was going to say is that the things that Adam mentioned about lower fees and stuff, that's all very attractive to your independent business owner. And I think for the stage we're at right now, most businesses would be willing to pay that credit card-like fee to accept Bitcoin if it brought them customers. So say if like Square incorporated it or something. But if we're talking to a group of people that want to increase adoption or are focusing on selling merchants on adopting crypto payments, then I think the lowest hanging fruit is, people like me who already have some interest and a healthy disregard for centralized authority. I think that there's no point trying to convert the unconvertible at this point, because it'll take some great strides and developments to get there for mainstream adoption. But right now, the more people like me there are that get what this is and are telling their business owner, friends and acquaintances about it, the better. And I think that's sort of what energy is best spent on. And that's what you guys come to expertise. So thank you.
Thanks.
I think I remember one time, correct me if I'm wrong, you saw a cafe and you went in and she had like a sign saying, "No longer taking credit card payments because we hate them because their fees are too high." And
what did you say to her? Something? Did she end up accepting Bitcoin now?
Yeah, I think she may have been the first business in Vancouver to do it.
What did her sign say exactly?
So she had just like a piece of paper on her tails saying like, "We recently stopped taking Visa payments because they've raised their fees," and then it had a bit of language in there that was strongly worded. Made me get the sense that she was feeling ripped off.
Yeah.
So I told her, like,
she was
"Hey,
right.
I've got like a thing for you to try then." And this was right across the street from where I was living at the time, so I could go in there and like hassle her constantly and really do some hand holding and help her get set up. So
That's the heavy lifting of this stuff.
yeah, eventually, she agreed to it. I sent her these emails, explained how it all worked. I went and just did all the setup for her, walked her through the first taking some payments just for me. I gave her a little sticker to put on the tail, and then I started telling other people to go there and start trying it out. And
yeah, sometimes it works just going around like that, or like you can't just cold call everyone you see, but you can spot an opportunity.
Yeah.
He saw it, he took it, and you have to notice those times like that. Because every door you knock on, it's 99% no's. If you spot one like this one, will probably be a yes if I ask them. They're targeted. In my case, I didn't always do, if I saw an opportunity like that, I would take it. My methods used to be through Meetup, so I had an existing Meetup community. We have, I think, over 9,000 members in our ESO group. So I just told all the merchants, you need to do Bitcoin or we're not coming back here again.
And the hard sell.
Well, like Waves Coffee House, we bring Waves 300 customers a week. They don't pay us to do that. Right? That's a free service we provide, pretty much.
I think if I recall with us, it was similar, but it was more like the honey approach, where you were like, we could bring this many customers, and that was definitely like a tipping point or like a major selling point for us. We were already like, sure, whatever, bring us customers. We're hungry and desperate. But you being like, this is going to be a thing. And then it was a thing. The whole community came out after we started accepting Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And the news ended up coming during one of the like early bull runs. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Great to see. Great to be a part of.
I think some of the guys at the local hackspace still go to Bestie because it's one of the closest ones serving food. So when he gets hungry and he's too lazy to sell Bitcoin or whatever, he'll make the trek to Chinatown from
Taylor.
Yeah. Oh, you see him all the time, don't you? Yeah. We're hoping to get more. So we're about to lose India Gate as a merchant, which is going to decrease, or it's going to increase how far you have to walk from parts of the city to get food.
Do you guys notice that the like media sentiment or general sentiment and price of Bitcoin also affects how jazzed people are about being a merchant or staying a merchant? Because I feel like the people who aren't true believers like me, when things start to slide, they're like, oh, it's all over, man. Like, for the fourth time now. That's just what I've noticed. Like, obviously people spend less Bitcoin when the price is lower, but the people who know about it. But just overall, like, people's level of desire to engage fully has to do with, it's a function of like the price times some measure of general sentiment.
That's true. We're lucky that the CoinFest coincided with a nice price spike. It's really set the mood. And we paid the deposits for the rental and all our venues before the 20% spike. And the merchants didn't cash out yet. So we have some happy merchants today. Nice. Think about it. Now some of them are like, no, I don't want to cash out anymore. I'm going to keep them. And I'm like, dude, that's on you. I'm recommending at least half or something. Now they're hooked. Like a person who just entered a casino and won on his first roll.
Better odds though.
Yeah, well, you get the idea. We try to discourage them from getting irresponsible, or I do. I was very clear, like, to be responsible, I have to recommend you cash out. But if you don't want to, that's fine.
We never did. It worked out all right.
Nice. Well, you started, like, what was the price of Bitcoin when you started?
$60.
Nice. Now it's a big percentage increase, man.
We didn't keep it all, unfortunately.
It was the same deal with the Sweet Tooth Cafe and also the Waves. Like
Nice.
they got on board during the bull run of 2013.
Yeah, we were just after that.
So you go and you sell these merchants hard, and they're a bit skeptical, and then they try it, and then they see like, oh hey, like wasn't the price of Bitcoin like half of what it is today? Like, so when the bull runs go, and then it's great because they're watching the prices, they're taking payments, and they're actually getting that feel that wow, like I should just be holding on to this stuff and getting into it myself a little more. So that's good timing.
Yeah. For me, I was just gonna say, for me, that like watching the price move the way it did is what actually got me into like capital market dynamics, participation in general, which is now like a huge part of what I'm doing. It was like the doorway into that whole world, understanding why the prices move, like what's happening here. So yeah, it's super interesting, and I think obviously for your average merchant, you're probably going to want to give them some kind of caveat emptor about bull runs and market dynamics, but it's definitely a selling point for sure.
And key safety. I think once a merchant you signed up lost their key. Remember that?
Yeah, there's been people who just forget their passwords.
I remember getting a stern talking to about these.
The last two merchants I signed up, I was almost mad at him. I was like, never lose your private key. Never, ever. Repeat after me. Say it twice. Okay. Because it'll damage our reputation if he loses his private key.
That's another thing merchants don't want to worry about.
Yeah. Well, I told him write it down on a piece of paper, and he already has a safe where he keeps all his passwords and business documents. So I was like, great, put it in there. Don't lose it, please. And I watched him do it. It's like,
but Visa would never tell him to do that, so he didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, it helps, and this is another thing. He works at a venue with a high proportion of staffed customers. It's a fancy restaurant. So it's never the case that the bar is too rushed and you're like, oh, we don't have time to do Bitcoin. It's generally a lax, casual, because it's an expensive restaurant, so they have lots of servers, and they have a greeter at the door who always has a tablet. So the greeter at the door, it's easy for him to step in and handle Bitcoin because he's always there,
For sure.
which is greatly affects whether a merchant will want to accept their staffing situation and logistics.
Absolutely.
Right? A place where the owner is usually nearby knows, well, if there's a problem, we'll just go down there and figure it out. A place where the owner is not usually on the premises will be less likely to take cryptocurrency for that reason. And you used to hang around Bestie.
Yeah, I did about 1,000 days in a row there, so
Yeah.
my tour of duty's over for now. But we got good people sorting it out, and they, for the most part, are on board with it.
Right.
They get it. They get the philosophy, which took a minute to sell to people who aren't as interested, but it's a good group of people.
What do you think about merchants? Do you think merchants will be interested in accepting new coins besides Bitcoin?
I think merchants will be interested in anything that makes sense and isn't hard.
That's
the
scary.
bottom line.
Like a new one, geez.
Well, I don't think it matters. Bitcoin's a new one for everyone, right? Except the people in this room and very, very small percentage of the general population.
Yeah.
So
He's a maximalist.
I'm not really actually. Maybe I was at one point, but
Or
I think if it's easy and it's free, like the transaction fees are low enough,
Not even free, just
payments settle,
low enough.
then they'll do whatever as long as it's working and people are using it. I think it's up to us as like a community of people who do know what they're doing a little more, who are into the tech and have learned, been burned a few times, lost our own keys, or figured this stuff out, is to go and do that sort of helping and education. So
A little bit of hand holding right now.
hand-holding.
Absolutely.
So I'm
That's what did it
comfortable
for
that
us.
running a custodial wallet, I can make it super easy for someone to use the wallet now.
And to say,
I shield them from all that, having to learn about keys and all that. I can just say, here's your address to open up on your tablet when someone wants to send you a payment, and here's, you push the numbers and it's done. And then if you want cash, then I'll sell you out myself. And if we get more people just willing to act as like grassroots payment processors and merchant support, then that's how I'd like to see things spread. Is you go and whatever your favorite cryptocurrency of the day is, you go and find the people in your local neighborhood that are close to you that you frequent, and just pitch them on it and say, can I set you up with this wallet? I'll do all the work of giving you
that's literally how you guys got us.
Yeah. And people will just come in and I'll take care of it all for you. So
Totally.
that's what needs to be done.
This brings me to another question for Dan. There are different POS companies trying to do this with different models. His was very open source, and our initiative was very community, grassroots oriented. Do you think if we had approached you and said, "Hi, I'm the CEO of this, our for-profit agency," would you still have accepted Bitcoin?
Maybe, but I think that depends on the worldview of the potentially independent owner-operator approach. For me and my worldview, you guys were pretty much the ideal.
So if we were a big corporation charging you a hefty fee, it wouldn't.
Well, no, I mean, no one's going to pay a hefty fee for something they don't understand right now. That's the bottom line, I think. And I think, like I said, the narrow end of the wedge and the folks that make the most sense to talk to are the independent owner-operators who are out there hustling and know how much Visa and MasterCard charge and their bank charges them, and are looking for something better, because those are the people who are going to take a chance on this stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like those are the people who have so far.
Here's another question. I kind of lost my train of thought on that question. You have any more comments?
Since we're on the merchant adoption panel, it's always good to mention the supply chain dynamics, where the merchants, they may want to know, once I receive Bitcoin, what am I going to do with it? And so, cashing it out right away is one option, or then holding it for a while and then cashing it out is another. But ideally, you want to get them spending it to other merchants that take Bitcoin, and maybe talking to their suppliers and saying, I got all this Bitcoin that Adam's coming in buying all these sausages, and now I need to buy more sausages. Can you guys maybe set up your own wallet?
Yeah.
That's another area. Like once you get a few merchants, you set them up and you gain their trust and it works well for them. And you can say, okay, like give me the contacts of your suppliers. And we'll take it from there.
And to the comment I made before, it's the same thing. The suppliers that are like smaller and independent are the most likely to adopt that. Cisco or whatever, we don't use them. They're not going to go for it. Not now, anyway.
So just to follow up a second there on my question. They're actually, and I'm not going to name them, there's a new POS system that made an argument to me that they thought merchants want this. Let's find out. He's setting up his POS system to be custodial. It will only let you pay with he's had his POS system and a wallet. Only his wallet works with his POS system, and it KYCs you. And I said, I don't think that's good business-wise, or like why? And he said merchants prefer it this way because they're afraid of double spend attacks, or do you agree with that?
Merchants just want it to be easy. They're just people. They're busy.
Are you
and
worried about double spends?
No, I trust you guys that what you told me makes sense, and now I know enough about blockchain and Bitcoin that the security stuff isn't really a concern for me. But if you're walking in cold to someone who doesn't know anything about this stuff, they just want it to be easy. So if his system is easy, they'll probably go for it. But if it's not, they won't. And if it's expensive, they won't.
Yeah. Well, being custodial can make it cheaper because it's just
Totally. And that's what Adam was talking about, right? He's custodial right now for
But will Adam willingly go through their KYC process? I know a lot of people won't. But it's interesting questions. I think keeping it permissionless, as we've done with our initiative, makes it efficient at spreading adoption. It's more convincing to people. Because when we just roll in and try to sell Bitcoin adoption, when it looks like we actually love this thing,
Exactly.
we're doing this because we want to help, we come with a tablet and ideas and stuff. It looks different from when I come in with the suit and I didn't even invent
two guys
this.
show up and tell me they're going to reduce my point of sale fees by X%. It's not as intriguing.
Yeah. Or you can tell if they really love it or if they're selling you something.
Yeah.
The salesman has a look, feel to it, I guess. I think I was also asking about new coins doing crypto because a while ago lately this hasn't been a problem because volatility in Bitcoin has been less the last couple of years, such that merchants weren't too concerned, but at times it was really impractical. So I've seen some people arguing that stable coins should become a thing for merchants. I'm pretty coin agnostic, such that I'm not sure any stable coin is yet ready to do that. I basically am agnostic and support whatever coin merchants seem to want or what's working. I'm not sure.
I think that most merchants will be coin agnostic too. They don't care if you use Visa or MasterCard or Bitcoin. If it's denominated in the fiat currency that they're used to accepting, and they have the option to exchange it at the time of purchase or near it, then it doesn't make any difference, right? But it's about how easy it is to use, what the network value is, how many people are using it, and whether or not it's a pain in the ass for their staff.
Yeah. Just to clarify, there's different types of stable coins. I think if it's one that's a tethering system, that's kind of silly. If your merchant isn't, I guess most merchants aren't ideological thinkers, but maybe someone like yourself might note that some stable coins just tether to a bank vault and you trust
Again,
the
they
stable
don't
coin
give a
issuer.
shit.
Yeah. They do that.
like some, maybe a few people might, but it needs to work and be secure, and that's it.
The buyers, the customers might, like Taylor, who comes to Bestie.
Yeah, if it's alpha geek people, that's a different scenario.
Can you imagine him KYCing himself through an app?
Not
No. So you lose some of the benefit, which was a marketing benefit from doing that.
yeah, it depends what market segment you're going.
Yeah. You got any new merchants lately? So we have some for CoinFest. Francesco's, our wedding venue. New Bitcoin accepting merchant. A food truck outside. That's an interesting story. We now have 2 food trucks in Vancouver accepting Bitcoin. Because there's one who does CoinFest every year, but he had a family event and he couldn't make it. You remember the Progi guy from previous CoinFests? But he was so upset, he felt so bad that he couldn't come make it for CoinFest, that he went through his, I guess they have a union or a group for food truck operators, and he went through and like convinced another guy to replace him. So now we have 2 food truck operators. So I guess what I'm saying is business to business. If one merchant likes it, he tells another merchant, and probably you trust your merchant friend telling you about it because he's doing it too, and he's not profiting from you using it. How many friends have you told to use Bitcoin?
All of them, I think, but
You said yes.
I'm not really into like evangelizing super hard. I definitely
Business partners?
yeah, I mean, yeah, we had to discuss it with my business partners when we started accepting Bitcoin, but yeah, I think it's like you said though, it's just authenticity in that recommendation or in spreading stuff like this that's actually working and there's a purpose beyond profit behind it is what's going to sell it to new merchants and also easy to use.
Just back to the point of like double spends and stable coins and things. I guess if you're the one who's going out and evangelizing to merchants and trying to sign them up, then you're kind of going to have to be comfortable with the risks yourself, right? So like if I set up a merchant and then heard that someone had double spent them somehow, I'd feel terrible. And if I set them up on like a crappy altcoin that had like a 51% attack or something went wrong,
Developers drop it.
yeah, it just gets dropped and loses all its value over time or whatever, I'd feel bad. So that's like up to you as the person recommending like a coin to use is to pick a good one. And for me, that's still Bitcoin, but
Hard to argue with right now.
yeah. And stable coins, yeah, like you gotta look at how it's being kept stable and
I prefer algorithmic ones.
okay, yeah,
They
there's
don't work yet, really.
That's like Protestant or Catholic.
I'm skeptical.
Well, we know someone trying to make one, but yeah, it's very difficult to make an algorithmic, trustless stablecoin. Most stablecoins are lazy and they use a pegging centralized method. But yeah, it's not really there yet. Let's see. Yeah, we're kind of making time because again, one of our speakers got SIM swapped. He is at the bank. Well, that's not good. That's why SIM swapped. I didn't hear that. That was
Cautionary
Ashton.
tale.
Maybe I'll just talk about because we were going to have a panel on blockchain-based event hosting. Because Ashton does event chain. He's the SIM swapped guy. I am getting kind of into event. CoinFest. We've been doing event hosting with blockchain for years now, but we haven't done it where we actually put tickets on the blockchain before. Like you register a ticket and each holder is on the blockchain. CoinFest has just used other methods, like we have a transparency page, for example. So when you go to CoinFest's website, you can watch everything we've done with funding. We list a reason for each expenditure to and from where. Imagine the Red Cross did that. Wouldn't that be great? No more 6 homes in Haiti, right? But EventChain's plan is to note the ticket sales on chain. In our case, CoinFest is free to attend, so it's kind of arbitrary. Although there are some things that you need your RSVP on EventChain to get, like $10 worth of free EventChain tokens. But in general, I wanted CoinFest to move. We've been trying to move gradually to blockchainifying everything as much as we can. Now we have multi-sig for global funding, stuff like that. So I follow those things. This is exciting. It's too bad you can't be here to talk about it. Hopefully you all RSVP on this thing. But yeah, can go on time and see what we've got. There, you can take a break. Next speaker's at 1:25.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah. Cut now. All right, that was our first panel for the day. We are going to take the break. As we mentioned, we had one of our friends got some troubles. So that means we will be back, and we're going to stop the live stream after this, and we're going to put it back on. Roughly, what time is it right now?